I'm Anna,
I'm Jessica.
and this is the Paranoia Pair.
We're on for Saturday.
Yes,
We're meeting new people. It's good for us.
he's ruining my vibe.
It's good for us.
I guess.
We're meeting new people. But we're gonna be drunk, most importantly. First and foremost, we'll be drunk.
And we'll have good Mexican food.
Specifically, I want queso.
Yeah, I already figured we were going to get at least one order of queso.
I love queso so much.
Do you think they do free refills?
On queso?
Yeah.
I hope so.
We're covering a merde as soon as my slideshow loads.
Merde?
Okay, here it is.
We are covering a merde. This is Jamie.
That's Jamie.
Oh, he looks so happy.
Okay. So Jennifer Lynn Faith met Jamie Faith, who's originally from Wisconsin, on a blind date in Phoenix in October of 2005. Jennifer was 33 and Jamie was 34. Jennifer had been divorced twice before, and she had a daughter named Amber from one of those marriages. Jennifer had actually just started going to church again, and they had these stones that you could take. And Jennifer picked one up, and it had the word faith on it. And then she met Jamie and had learned his last name was Faith, and she felt like it was a sign and that it was meant to be.
Is she crazy?
Not really. Kind of, but not really.
Is she the murderer?
Kind of, but not really.
Oh, what?
Yeah. So they hit it off right away, despite Jamie not wanting to be married or have kids. That all changed, though, when he met Jennifer. So, he really loved this girl. They had a ton in common and ended up getting married in Vegas in 2012. And Jamie got along really well with Amber. He treated her like she was his own. And when she turned 18, he officially adopted her.
Oh.
In 2017, the family made the move from Tucson to Oak Cliff, and that's in Dallas County, Texas, after Jamie landed a promotion with American Airlines following their merger with US Airways. And he worked as an IT director, and he was super proud of what he did. He was really passionate. Jennifer had a master's in speech pathology, and she had been killing it as a regional director at an inpatient rehab hospital in 2012, and everything was pretty perfect. Family and friends saw Jennifer and Jamie as the ideal couple, super friendly, always warm, and the couple everyone just loved to be around. Even Jennifer felt like she had that kind of relationship that people envied. They went on cruises with Jamie's friends, and Jamie loved Hawaiian shirts. So, cruises were his thing. He was packing all Hawaiian shirts. And Jennifer, she would match him in a Hawaiian dress.
Oh.
And they were always holding hands and kissing, and their new neighbors loved them. And they became really close. One of their neighbors' moms got sick, and they even offered to take the kids for a weekend every month to help her out. And the neighbors say they hit the lottery when they met them. On October 8th, 2020, they were celebrating 15 years together. But things were about to take a dark turn. The following day, on October 9th, while leaving their house for their morning walk with their dog Maggie, Jamie was shot 7 times by a man wearing a mask. The man then duct taped Jennifer's hands together and tried to take off her jewelry, but was unsuccessful. One of the neighbors, named Emery Wilson, heard gunshots and screaming, and he started to run over to see what had happened and if anyone had needed help. As he was running over, a man appeared in the walkway wearing a mask and a hoodie with a gun. He ran back to his house, trying to avoid anything possibly happening to him and to also grab his gun. So we're in Texas.
Yeah.
And everyone has guns.
I was just thinking that. I was like, oh, it's Texas.
Another neighbor ran after the family dog. And another neighbor named Melinda called the police and told them to hurry because she thought one of her neighbors had been shot. A lot of neighbors actually came running over, and Emery ran back over to the Faith's house and seen Jamie laying in the driveway and Jennifer sitting on the steps. Jamie appeared to be dead, so he went over to Jennifer and grabbed her hand and they prayed together, feeling like that was the only thing he could do to offer her comfort. Another neighbor came over and hugged Jennifer, who was hysterically crying, and told her that if she needed anything to call and let them know. When the police arrived, they quickly noted the number of times Jamie was shot. This area is usually pretty nice, quiet neighborhood, so something like this was out of the norm. Jennifer immediately called Jamie's friend who lived in Arizona, told him he'd been shot dead, and as a surviving witness to the murder, she was taken to the police department to get interviewed, which was videotaped. And this is happening during COVID, so everyone's wearing masks. She described step by step what had happened, and she says the gunman had hit her, taped her hands together, and tried to take her rings off but wasn't able to get them. Jennifer broke down when recounting the shooting of her husband, and she said the man was wearing a blue mask, a black hoodie, and had dark eyes. And the police think this might be a hired hit. Jamie was shot 3 times in the head, 3 times in the chest, and once in the groin, and police asked neighbors if they knew anything in Jamie's life that could possibly have been contributed to his murder.
Was the shot in the groin accidental? Because that's
No,
okay.
that's personal.
Yeah, because that's unless he like accidentally shot him in the groin, like that means something.
Mm-hmm.
Oh no. Did the wife have a lover? Damn it. I watched too much ID channel.
So everyone says no, they can't imagine anyone hating Jamie. Everywhere Jamie went, he made friends. He genuinely cared about everyone, and he would do anything he could to help a stranger. One of the neighbors who had recently moved had told investigators that the Faiths were living very comfortably. Like, they would buy new things, such as a flat screen TV, and her neighbor had warned the Faiths that they needed to be very careful about putting boxes by the road because it was like advertising for someone to come rob them. Like, hey, we just bought this giant TV.
Where do you put the boxes then?
Well, you can like break them down and put them in recycling or something.
Potato.
I just put them in a big pile in my kitchen until I find the courage to break them down and put them in my recycling bin.
I usually leave them somewhere in my house till my cats get done playing with them, and then my husband throws them outside because they're in the way.
One of the neighbors said that it might be a response to road rage. Another idea was that it was a disgruntled employee that Jamie had to let go because at the time airlines were laying people off because it was the pandemic. During the first public statement, the police said that they thought the motive might have been an attempted robbery, but they didn't give out any specific details. And
No robber's gonna shoot him in the groin.
right, but he did try to take her rings off.
And that's such a cliche hitman thing because they don't beat up the woman
Right.
whenever they're involved. They just tie him up and then like pretend a robbery. But like,
And like hit them a little
if
bit.
they're gonna shoot the man, they're gonna shoot the woman too.
Yeah. Everyone was terrified. The neighbors after this were staying inside in fear that something would happen to them next. Jennifer started a group chat with 10 to 12 people, all of her closest friends and family, so she could keep them up to date on what was happening. The first few weeks, Jennifer had given updates every single day. She told them that the police had found a cigarette butt at the scene, that they were running DNA on it. She also hinted that the police were looking at someone Jamie had worked with, which they were. The police were also looking into a different motive, perhaps any marriage issues that would make someone want to do this. There wasn't really any detailed descriptions to go on, but luckily for police, a lot of the houses in the area had doorbell cameras. So they had footage that they could use and go through for their investigation. And this is when they got their first clue. A black Nissan pickup truck with a white T in the back window, which probably was for the Texas Rangers baseball team. But this is Texas, land of the pickup truck. And there's tons of Ranger fans all over the state. So it's like a needle in a haystack. Jennifer expressed frustrations about how many cameras there were and not a single one had captured the license plate. She also was encouraging her group chat to go out and start looking for trucks that matched the description. And obviously they did because they wanted to catch this person. As they're on the lookout for this truck, Jennifer and Jamie's family were laying him to rest over in Arizona. Jamie's friend Jason did most of the speaking. Jennifer just couldn't bring herself to do it. At his memorial, they all wore Hawaiian shirts, which Jamie was known for wearing. Um, with Jamie gone, he was the breadwinner. Jennifer was worried about affording the mortgage and being able to keep herself afloat. She had to quit working a few years prior because of health issues that she was having. And Jason wrote Jennifer a $5,000 check when he dropped her off at the airport. She and Amber really had a great support system of friends and family. Some of Jamie's coworkers actually started a GoFundMe for Jennifer and Amber.
Jeez.
They raised more than $60,000. After Jennifer returned home, she had told a neighbor that she was having a hard time feeling safe at home and that she wasn't able to sleep because of this, which reasonable because your husband just got killed in your driveway.
Yeah.
So one of the neighbors started walking his dog with her in the morning, and then more neighbors started to join them, and they were always on the lookout for a black truck. Just gaggle of neighbors all walking their dogs together.
Gaggled.
Yeah. She also voiced her frustrations about the lack of progress in the case. Thanksgiving comes around and there's an empty chair at the table where Jamie should be sitting. Close friends would always come over and help set up a tree, but with him gone now, things are different. News breaks out that there could be an alleged serial killer on the loose in Dallas, and Jennifer thinks that it could possibly be connected. This man was driving around Dallas just randomly shooting people up to 9 times, so it does fit the description.
Is that a serial killer or is that a spree killer? It's usually serial killers, they have, like, I thought they had, like, a period of time in
Yeah.
between each kill.
Well, I don't know if this is all, like, happening at once or if it's just, like, multiple times. One friend in the group chat who was an ex-military member also expressed the same idea, saying that there's typically 8 rounds in a clip plus 1 kept in the chamber equals 9. Jennifer stated that she believed there were 9 total rounds that were shot at Jamie, but only 7 of them hit. This seemed like a good lead to investigate for detectives, but when Jennifer brought it up to them, they didn't really seem interested. And this really frustrated Jennifer and the entire friend group because they wanted someone to be held accountable and they wanted the police to do their job. As the weeks go by, though, the group chat gets quieter. Police are actually following a lead of their own, though, and Jennifer just doesn't know it. The person is actually a contact they found in Jennifer's phone. The person lives in a small community 650 miles away, though, in Cumberland Furnace, Tennessee.
Cumberland Furnace? That sounds so cozy.
Since the investigation has crossed state lines, the ATF and the Tennessee Bureau of Investigations are now involved, and they begin aerial surveillance and find a black Nissan truck with a white T on the back window. They need to get more evidence, though, to connect him to the crime because he's so far away. The detectives are keeping this close to their chest and they don't want to expose their hand and ruin their chance at fully connecting the dots. On December 2nd, 2020, Jennifer had a scheduled interview with a local news station. She recounted that morning and she makes a plea for people to be on the lookout for that truck. 3 days after that interview aired, the investigators surveilling their lead interest in Tennessee noticed that the white sticker had been removed. Police have also pulled his cell phone records and they place him at the scene of the crime that gives them enough to make an arrest. The man is Darrin Lopez. He's a father of 3.
Oh, no.
And the police don't want to push him into a corner with a murder warrant, so they wait for him to leave his house so they can instead get him on a traffic stop and not barge into his house. So the ATF and the TBI need to be present at the stop, but the local police have to arrest him. On January 11th, 2021, the Dixon County Sheriff's Department's called in. They're informed that the suspect is a highly trained military member and considered to be dangerous and might put up a fight by any means necessary. But when they pulled Darrin over, his teenage daughter is driving her car with him as the passenger, probably teaching her how to drive.
That's so traumatizing to
Mhm.
her.
And the daughter is visibly upset, like she had been crying, but Darrin is very calm. Darrin complied with the officers and he exited the vehicle and was handcuffed and placed in the back of a police car. He was taken to the Dixon County Sheriff's Office where he was interviewed by the Dallas, Texas detectives. While waiting for detectives to enter the room, Darrin is noticeably on edge. He was jumping and shaking his arms, and at one point, he was pretending to pull a gun and point it at different spots in the room and shooting.
What the fuck is that?
I don't know. When the detective comes in and tells Darrin that he's hoping they can just talk, Darrin says no and that he wants a lawyer, which is smart. But bad for this because
They obviously just want to be able to talk to him and not
yeah,
have to wait for a lawyer.
yeah.
Lawyer.
They execute a search warrant on Darrin's home and they find the vehicle. And even though the white sticker is gone, there is a
God.
dirt outline where it had been. Um,
Those stickers never fully come off.
no, they don't. Actually, if you take brake cleaner and spray it on there, it'll take all the residue off.
My stepdad, which obviously you know this, was a truck driver, and my mom bought him a semi, and he paid me $20 to go out in the driveway with an extension cord and a hair dryer and heat up all the stickers that were already on it and get them off, and it was a horrible job and I hated it. I got that $20 though. That probably paid for our snacks at that next Family Dollar
Yeah.
excursion we went on when you stayed the night.
That was our go-to spot. Inside the truck, they find a blue mask, and inside the house, they find a green bag with a gun in it.
Why the fuck would you keep all
And
that?
the gun had blood on it still.
Oh my God.
He had several months, hundreds of miles to get rid of this gun. And not only did he keep it, he didn't even clean it.
And he's military, so he should know how to.
Yeah, usually people like clean their guns after they shoot them every single time.
Yeah, and then, like, you'd think he'd have, like, the intelligence to, like, get rid of his mask too.
Yeah.
Put
Well,
the
it's COVID.
drop the puts a whole ski mask on to go get groceries.
Yeah.
Like,
People were doing that.
I know there was this one I seen, and it was like a
Remember?
frying or like the lid of a pan, and they had their hood around it and like the strings drawn so it would like hold it.
Remember when people were wearing underwear on their heads?
I would rather them breathe directly in my mouth than breathe their warm breath through their used underwear
Yeah.
into my face.
That was wild. Darrin was kept in custody at the Dixon County Jail on a fugitive of justice warrant, and he had an extradition hearing set. He pleaded not guilty to both charges and was transferred to the Dallas County Jail, where he was held on a $1 million bail. News broke that Darrin had been arrested in the case, and people were confused as to why this man would drive all the way from Tennessee to Texas to kill someone he never even met.
For that
And-
poontang.
yeah. And then one of the friends' husbands noticed. Darrin was in the fucking group chat that Jennifer had created. Investigators found out that Darrin is Jennifer's high school boyfriend that she went to prom with. They had met at a Catholic school in Tucson, Arizona when they were 15, and they were in band together. They moved in together during college for 2 years, but Darrin had dropped out after a year and joined the army, and that's when they started drifting apart. Darrin had gotten married and was stationed to South Korea, and he had reconnected with Jennifer in March of 2020 during the beginning of the pandemic through email, and he stated that he was so happy to finally track her down and had caught up with her on the last 20 years of his life. His marriage had fell apart a few years ago, but he had 3 daughters, a 13-year-old and 2 twin 16-year-olds, and he also had 2 stepdaughters. He also tells Jennifer about being on the front lines after 9/11. He was deployed to Iraq 6 times and promoted to Special Forces Sergeant in the Green Berets. During his training and throughout the years, Darrin said that he thought about Jennifer and it helped him get through everything. There was a specific song that he heard after coming back from South Korea that made him think of her every time it played, and it's called What Might Have Been by Little Texas.
Oh god.
He signs off this email with "As You Wish," which is a reference to The Princess Bride, and it's code for "I love you." I've never watched that movie, but it sounds lame as fuck.
The Princess Bride?
Mhm.
Does that sound familiar?
That's the one where the guy poisons both cups or something like that?
Oh.
The Thing.
Oh, yeah, I've never seen this. 1987? Oh, I don't like that guy's mustache.
Jennifer replies that she is beyond happy to hear from Darrin and gave him the rundown on what had happened in her life during all those years and include photos. She also jokes that her family knows all about him because they used to joke that if Jennifer and Darrin got married, she would be Jennifer Lopez. She says that she has missed him over the years and that she had so many times wished that she could talk to him. He writes back that she still looks pretty and it felt good calling her Angel and telling her that he loved her. They go back and forth. It's very mushy. He does tell Jennifer about the injuries he had as a result of his service. He had suffered from a traumatic brain injury and shared pictures of an incident where 2 trucks filled with explosives blew up and 19 people were killed as a result. Darrin was just only one of 4 people who had survived that.
Damn.
From his injuries in Iraq, Darrin received a Purple Heart and he now suffers from PTSD.
It's just fucked up though that he survived 1 in 4 just to fuck his whole life up.
Yeah. He also suffers from migraines, ringing in his ears, and eventually is discharged on full disability. After only 3 days of contacting each other, they're already planning to meet up. Jennifer plans to visit Darrin in Tennessee and come up with an excuse to tell Jamie, her husband, for why she needs to get away for a weekend.
I just want to take a moment that they're not texting, they're emailing each other.
Yeah.
And like
Well, they also go on to text and call each other all the time.
I know, I'm just thinking about like if I found out my husband was cheating, I would have never found out he was cheating on me through emails. That's the last place I would check is somebody's emails.
Yeah.
I'm not sorting through their junk mail to find like one saucy email.
Okay, TMI.
Love it.
But Darrin says he plans on taking Jennifer to bed and making love to her all night.
Okay.
And within 10 days of their first email, Darrin is telling Jennifer that he loves her and that he has always loved her and that he's ready to plan the rest of his life with her.
I just don't understand why these relationships go straight to murder.
I don't know.
Just divorce.
Jennifer writes him a handwritten love letter in response. And she tells a friend that she has reconnected with her high school lover and that they are having a full-blown emotional affair. She admits this to her friend. So things are escalating fast, to say the least. And she's living a double life. Jennifer and Darrin are constantly in communication. They're exchanging texts, emails, and phone calls on an average of, you want to guess how many? How many times a day do you think?
8.
500.
500 text messages?
500 texts, emails, and phone calls combined a day.
That's more than a month for me.
I don't even send you that many messages.
No, and you send a lot of messages.
I spam you a lot. I'm sorry.
No, that's fine. But like that's a really good like thing to put in perspective. Like, I mean, at least that's crazy. I wonder if Jamie noticed, because like you can't not notice that.
Right. I'm wondering if maybe he traveled a lot though.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Could be that.
They start sharing their fantasies with each other and they actually haven't even met up in person yet. But then Jennifer starts to tell Darrin things aren't really great in her marriage. He isn't treating her right.
Of course, that's what they always say.
And Darrin gets an email from Jamie telling him to stay away from his family and that he and Jennifer obviously can't keep their communication to a friendship level. Darrin responds saying he won't stay away from Jennifer because she's having horrible nightmares because of the things Jamie's doing to her and that he is one of the only people she can talk to. Jamie's next email to Darrin says that if he contacts Jennifer again, he will harm her and goes on to describe how. And it gets graphic. What he is describing as sexual abuse. He then goes on to send Darrin photos of Jennifer's injuries like scratches, cuts, bruises, and the emails just keep coming and they're getting more and more aggressive. Darrin suggests to Jennifer that they call the police. She begs him not to. She says her daughter Amber won't be able to deal with seeing Jamie be handcuffed in front of her, and that if he called, she would deny everything. Darrin is desperate for Jennifer to get some kind of help.
No, he's not
So
even that bad.
Jennifer suggests that Darrin contact her friend Rob. So Darrin emails him saying Jamie's physically and sexually abusing Jennifer and that she needs help. He also says Jamie sometimes takes Jennifer to another location besides their home so that other men can also abuse her. He is also sharing photos of some of the recent injuries. He writes that he has offered to shoot Jamie in the head, and every time he does, Jennifer tells him no. Rob writes back to Darrin and says that he is also worried about Jennifer. He would rather Darrin go with his idea of killing Jamie and offers to provide an alibi for him. They stay in pretty steady contact, and in August, Darrin gets a phone call from Jennifer. She says she can't take this anymore, and the only way for her to get out is by killing Jamie. She's worried about their upcoming trip to Vegas to visit Jamie's family, and she downloads an app where Darrin can track her location. After they get back from Vegas, though, she doesn't turn the tracking off because Jamie is almost always with Jennifer. So in turn, he knows Jamie's location as well. October rolls around, and at that time, Jennifer's planning her wedding anniversary and Jamie's murder. Darrin and Jennifer are texting back and forth upwards of 600 times a day, planning this all out together. Darrin tells his daughters that he's going away on a hunting trip for a few days. The night before the murder, Darrin and Jennifer don't communicate at all.
Okay, yeah, that'll like totally hide their trail.
The drive for Darrin from his Tennessee home to the Faith's house is 11 hours, so he takes his truck in to be serviced before. He enters the address into his Google Maps for the trip, so the police were able to get cell phone tower locations from Darrin's phone, tracing him all the way down to Dallas. He also bought a Red Bull, 2 DVDs, and took out $100 in cash to use for gas on the way back home, which I love that he's just buying 2 DVDs.
That's what I was wondering. What are those for?
To keep him entertained on his 11-hour trip. He doesn't take into account the security cameras at all the places he's stopping, though. He gets to the house on October 9th at 2:19 in the morning, and he parks across the street. He goes into the backyard of the next door neighbor's house, and this is caught on camera. He just lays there and waits for the perfect time to ambush Jamie. Jamie and Jennifer leave their house with their dog Maggie for their morning walk, and that's something they do every morning. So he knows their routine. And this would be the last time they do that. Jennifer's hands are taped together, and Darrin shoots Jamie dead in the driveway and manages to take Jamie's wedding ring off his finger. The neighbors all come out, and Darrin goes to his truck and drives away, and as he's driving away, he throws Jamie's ring out the window. When Jennifer is taken to be interviewed after Jamie's killed, the police ask to see her phone, and Jennifer has already prepared for this the night before. She deleted all calls and texts between her and Darrin. But remember the friend she told she was having an affair? She forgot to delete that text message. So the police find Darrin's contact info in her phone along with his address. And once police return her phone, she immediately starts contacting Darrin again, while simultaneously contacting her friends and family that she doesn't know who would want to do this to poor Jamie. When Darrin is about 60 miles away from his house, he calls Jennifer, and their relationship is back on. Jennifer complains to her friends that she's worried about money, so the GoFundMe's created. And just a few days after Jamie's murder, she's withdrawing money from the GoFundMe and sending it to Darrin. She's sending him credit cards in her name and even sent him a large flat screen TV. And she's also sending him plane tickets for him and his daughters. She used all the money from the GoFundMe in 2 months. $60,000.
Oh my God.
So she's looking at ways she can get access to Jamie's $400,000 retirement account and over $600,000 in life insurance. She can't access the funds though yet because his death is still an active murder investigation, and the police told the insurance company that Jennifer couldn't be ruled out as a suspect. She's furious that she hasn't been cleared as a suspect and actually calls the police department to yell at them because nothing says, "I'm not suspicious," like yelling at the police.
Nothing says suspicious like going through $60,000 in 2 months.
Yeah. So Jennifer kept texting the group chat about possible leads, and Darrin is the friend in the group chat that mentions the link between the serial shooter and Jamie's murder. Even after Jennifer's TV interviews, where the reporters ask her to bring out a memory book, she messages Darrin after and says, "They made me look at pictures of Jamie all day. Dot dot barf." The Texas Ranger sticker that Jennifer mentioned in the TV interview actually wasn't 100% true.
It was Tennessee.
The sticker on the back window was for the Tennessee Volunteers, which is a college football team. While she's asking everyone to be on the lookout for this truck and the sticker, she was telling Darrin to remove it from his truck. The text messages after Jamie's death get more and more sexual and unhinged. They talk about dark and violent fantasies. They genuinely think they got away with murder. This is about the time police start to zero in on Darrin because the police get a hold of surveillance footage of him at the gas station when he was headed to Dallas. They've also subpoenaed his Google records and placed him at the Faith's house the night before Jamie's murder. They have their guy and they believe Jennifer is involved as well, and they knew timing was everything, so if they arrested Darrin before bringing in Jennifer, it would not go well for them. They thought Jennifer would shut down on them completely in order to protect herself and Darrin. While Darrin was taken into custody, they wanted to speak with Jennifer. So the police asked Jennifer to come into the office because they had a few questions for her. She immediately texts Darrin, letting him know that the police want to talk to her to start moving things along. Jennifer tells Darrin not to text her on Monday and that she's going to factory reset her phone on Sunday and delete all of their texts. They bring her in on January 11th to have her go through the events leading up to Jamie's murder again. They ask if she recognizes the man who attacked them or if it seemed like anyone she knew. She says no. Then the police ask if she knows a man named Darrin. She goes, "Darrin Lopez, yeah." Then they ask who he is. She says one of her best friends and that they dated in high school, but she made sure to mention that he didn't know Jamie. They ask how often they talk. She says every day they would text. Detectives ask if there was any intimate conversations between them. Jennifer hesitates with her answer and says there wasn't intimate talk. Before she can finish, though, the detective pulls out a stack of papers and he absolutely goes into her.
I would love to read those texts.
I know. On October 5th, you guys had over 667 times where you had called or texted each other. Jennifer acts confused, and I can't tell if she's like, "Damn, that's a lot. We were really talking that many times." She's actually genuinely confused, like, "Oh my God, we talked that many times." Damn. I knew we talked a lot, but
this is embarrassing.
The detectives then tell her that between October 9th and November 25th, they had communicated over 24,000 times. And 13,644 of those were text messages. Between
13,000?
Yeah, in a little over a month. 24,000 times.
I'm not sure if I've texted that much this year.
The detective says that's a lot of talking for someone who's just your friend. Jennifer becomes
reads Anna's messages to me.
Is it my period or is it diarrhea?
Is it diarrhea from my period?
Also a possibility. Jennifer becomes defensive, responding back by saying that he's only one of her best friends and that she's helping him with his kids right now. Police then bring up that Darrin has a truck that matches the description and the photos provided by witnesses. The police really dig into Jennifer, saying how they feel like she's playing them because the same guy that murdered her husband is the guy she's communicating with all day, every day. Jennifer fires back and says that Darrin's retired and that she doesn't work, so they just talk throughout the day. The detective reiterates that he killed her husband, and Jennifer asks, "How do you know that?" Then they drop the bomb. They tell her they have proof. Darrin is actually currently sitting in jail right now for murder. Jennifer immediately asks for an attorney, and she tries to play it out to friends and family that it was all Darrin and that she had no involvement. And when Darrin is arrested, they get a search warrant for his phone, and Jennifer might as well just give up now because unlike Jennifer, Darrin didn't delete shit. The police now have access to all the text messages, including the planning and the lies. Texts between Jennifer and Darrin indicated that they planned to use the life insurance money to buy her a property in Tennessee. They also uncovered that Jennifer was trying to destroy evidence in the case, so police were afraid that if they don't act now, Jennifer is going to destroy enough evidence that they won't be able to prosecute them. So on February 24th, 2021, Jennifer Faith was arrested on obstruction of justice charges, and Jennifer later pleaded not guilty. Back in Tennessee, Darren's estranged wife is handling his financial matters and comes across some emails while he's in prison. The emails were from Jamie and Rob talking about the abuse that was happening to Jennifer. She contacts the police and hands them over. The police contact Rob and ask him if he has a Gmail account under the email that was used to contact Darrin, because Rob is a real person.
Oh.
He says no, that he's never heard of the email address. In Jennifer's house, they found computers containing emails. Plot twist. Jennifer was Rob and Jamie this whole time. And honestly, she'd probably pretend to be the dog too if she thought it would help her. I'm not gonna lie. Everything was a lie. There was no abuse happening. The photos that were sent as proof were from an old car accident that she had, and one of them was just a stock photo she found online. So her charges are actually upgraded to murder for hire, and she's now facing the possibility of the death penalty.
I didn't even know you could get the death penalty for that.
In Texas. You can.
Damn.
Her friends went from supporting her to being in complete shock that she was the mastermind behind this entire thing. While in custody, Jennifer started writing letters to everyone she knew, basically saying she has a simple, innocent explanation for everything, but can't say much without jeopardizing her case. She hopes that they will still be her friends, and that she's making friends in prison, and that her prison friends made her a birthday cake.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Police do some further digging on Jennifer, and it turns out this wasn't the first time Jennifer had tried to do something like this. They tracked down Rick Erlob, who was married to Jennifer in the early 2000s. He says shortly after they began dating, they took a trip to Disneyland, and Jennifer had told him that her first husband had done horrible abusive things to her, the same way she did to Darrin. It got to the point to where Rick wanted to kill her first husband, but said, "Oh, you can't do this to my daughter's dad." And it's speculated that she didn't believe Rick would be able to pull it off, so she changed her mind and she didn't want to risk it. So when police confront Darrin with the truth that the emails and everything else was fake and he was lied to by Jennifer, he literally couldn't believe it. He had spent so much time hating Jamie, he could not come to terms that everything was fake.
I know it's probably, I don't know if people will be mad, but like I really feel for Darrin being manipulated like that. Ruined his life.
It took him 6 months. It took his lawyer 6 months to convince Darrin that Jennifer had lied to him about the entire thing. So in October 2021, just a month after Jennifer got hit with a murder for hire charge, Darrin sat down with officials to talk about the case. He walked them through how they planned to make the killing look like a robbery. He even came up with a code word, 575, which was the number of his special forces team for Jennifer to use in text messages when she started claiming her husband was abusive. He agreed to testify against Jennifer, which is probably why she took the plea deal on top of being a little fucking coward bitch. And Jennifer ends up taking the plea deal, which was taking the death penalty away, and she would just spend life in prison if she pled guilty. She also had to admit that there was no abuse and that everything was a lie. On February 7th, 2022, Jennifer appeared in a Dallas courtroom and pleaded guilty to murder for hire. She admitted that her husband had never abused her physically or sexually, and the photos were fake. She also had to come clean about how she'd spent the GoFundMe money. Court records showed that Jennifer didn't pay for Jamie's funeral expenses and to this day owes $6,500. Court records also showed Jennifer had asked that $200,000 from Jamie's estate be put into her prison commissary account. And in July 2022, Jennifer Faith was sentenced to life in prison for orchestrating the murder of her husband. Jamie's parents and sister did not attend the hearing. I don't blame them. GoFundMe offered full refunds to anyone who donated to the Faith's account. Darrin's trial began In July of 2023, during his trial, Darrin admitted that he killed Jamie, but claimed he was manipulated into doing so by Jennifer. He also stated that Jennifer convinced him that her husband, Jamie, was abusing her and used fake emails, staged injuries, and made up stories to gain his sympathy. He said he believed he was protecting her and acted based on those lies that she fed him. The prosecutors presented thousands of text messages exchanged between Darrin and Jennifer, showing that they planned the murder. Darrin did admit to driving from Tennessee to Texas to kill Jamie, believing that he was protecting Jennifer. However, prosecutors pointed out that he never attempted to verify her claims of abuse. The defense argued that Lopez was emotionally vulnerable and acted out of misguided loyalty, but the jury ultimately found him guilty. Darrin expressed a lot of regret and apologized to Jamie's family and Amber. His defense team argued that his remorse, along with his cooperation in helping to convict Jennifer, should have been considered in his sentencing. However, the jury handed him a 62-year prison sentence. And my thoughts that no one asked for is I just want to mention in the TV episode that I watched about this case, a lot of people were referring to Darrin as a highly trained killer. And this isn't uncommon in cases that involve military members committing crimes, but I hate when people do this. I think it's dehumanizing and harmful.
Not only that, but like, what if you go into the military and then, yeah, you're put through boot camp and trained and stuff, how to use a weapon. But then, like,
You're not a trained killer.
yeah, what if your job consists of doing something else? Then I don't know a lot about it.
It's the same as being trained to do like welding. They actually have jobs in the military. Like they're actually trained to do like cooking and radio operating and shit.
Yeah.
And taking care of vehicles.
That's what I was
like. They're not just trained to kill people. They're trained on how to use weapons.
Yeah.
Which I would venture to say, I think everyone should be trained. If they want to have guns, they should be trained on how to use them and keep them safe. Because people aren't taught that. And then you get people who accidentally shoot their family and loved ones.
Or those little kids who shoot themselves?
Yes. Also, I think that referring to veterans who commit crimes, it doesn't just paint them as a horrible person, it paints them all that way, and especially people with PTSD and other service-related injuries. And they do have standards. They have standards and morals and ethical codes that they have to follow. It's not just like, we're going to give these people guns and we're going to train them on how to kill people and then we're just going to release them into the wild. So there's plenty of people who do unspeakable things and they have no history of serving. So I think it's just bullshit that people do this. Also, Darrin Lopez did not murder Jamie because he was in the military. He killed him because he made horrible, disgusting choices for a woman who manipulated him beyond belief. As of September, though, he asked Texas Governor Greg Abbott to shorten his prison sentence, saying he deserved some kind of leniency because he helped the police, which I would say fair. As of now, though, there's no public record of the governor responding to Darrin, and Jennifer is currently incarcerated at a low-security institution in Alabama. And Darrin is serving his sentence in Texas.
Honestly, so sad for Darrin.
I mean, I don't say free him, but like, yeah, I do kind of feel bad that he just blindly trusted this woman. I think it's super fucked up that he killed him.
I also think it's lame that she's in a low security prison.
And that she gets birthday cakes from her prison friends.
Oh, who has the galls to ask for the man you murdered? The $200,000 for commissary?
Yeah.
Maybe like $200. 200,000. Like that's a big demand.
That's a lot of money.
A lot of Cheetos. Thanks for listening.
If you enjoyed this episode, you can find us on Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, and Facebook at Paranoia Pair Pod. And we will see you next Friday.
Stay spooky.
Goodbye.
Bye.